You ever notice how the dumbest people you know are also the most confident? Like your cousin Jake, who thinks the earth is flat, has more self assurance than you do, and you actually graduated college. That's because Jake doesn't know what he doesn't know, which makes life way easier. You, on the other hand, you're sitting there at 3 a.m., wondering if you're actually smart or if you've just been faking it your whole life and everyone's about to find out. Thing is, that fear, that's actually proof you're not an idiot. Smart people question themselves, dumb people don't. But questioning yourself doesn't pay rent, so let's figure out how to actually get smarter instead of just feeling bad about not being smarter. When people say they want to get smarter, they usually mean four things: learn skills that make money, solve problems, hopefully also for money, understand difficult stuff so you can flex a little, and sound intelligent in conversations without being that guy who starts every sentence with, well, technically. Most advice you'll find online is completely useless, though. It's always the same recycled garbage. Eat more fish because omega-3 fatty acids, do Sudoku puzzles, learn a new language, meditate, drink green tea, sleep 8 hours. Cool, so you want me to become a Japanese monk who's really good at number games. I'm sure that'll help me understand cryptocurrency. But the actual answer is way simpler. You need to read, but not like your teacher told you. Fiction is great because it makes you read faster, builds vocabulary, and if you read enough dialogue, your brain starts treating it like you're hanging out with people. Which sounds depressing, but it's actually genius. Because your brain can't tell the difference between reading a conversation and having one. But most people skip straight to nonfiction because that's where you get the good stuff for sounding smart. You know how some people just casually drop facts in conversation and everyone's like, whoa, this person is intelligent? They read like one book. Seriously, one solid book on any topic, and suddenly you're the expert in the room. The secret isn't knowing everything, it's knowing how to share what you know without being insufferable. Let me paint you a picture. You're at a party, someone mentions evolution. Now you've got two options. Option one, you can be that guy. The one who goes, actually, we didn't evolve from chimpanzees.
We share a common ancestor and multiple hominid species coexisted throughout the Pleistocene epoch, so technically,
Congrats. You just made everyone want to leave. Option two, you say something like, dude, yeah, it's wild. I was down a Wikipedia rabbit hole last week, and apparently we didn't come from chimps. We're more like cousins who grew up in the same neighborhood but never really talked. You know what I mean? Same information, completely different vibe. One makes you sound like you memorized a textbook. The other makes you sound like a normal human who happens to know stuff. The entire trick is teaching people things without making them feel stupid. When you pull that off, people actually want to learn from you, which makes you look both smart and likable. It's like being good-looking and rich, but for your brain. So where do you find these magical books that make you sound intelligent? Easy. Think of literally anything you want to learn about. Cooking, car repair, psychology, doesn't matter. Google it plus the word book. Oh look, this one has good reviews. Now these usually cost money, right? But sometimes, purely by accident, you might end up on a certain website, the kind of website I definitely cannot officially recommend. And if you happen to search for that book title and purely hypothetically clicked a download button, well, I'm just saying your finger could slip. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just acknowledging that gravity affects fingers sometimes. You ever notice how the videos that actually help you never get recommended, but the ones that waste your time are everywhere? That's because YouTube doesn't know what's useful unless you literally tell it. The like button is there if you want more of this instead of the usual brain rot. That's it, your move. Okay, so you've got the book. I mean, bought it, of course. Now comes the part everyone screws up. You can't just read the book and expect to get smarter. That's like watching cooking videos and wondering why you're still ordering Uber Eats every night. Your brain is basically a really skeptical boss who only cares about information that seems useful right now. If you don't use what you learn, your brain literally deletes it like it's clearing cache. This is actually where most people get filtered. They think reading equals learning. It doesn't. Reading equals reading. Learning is when you force your brain to give a shit about the information. You do that by using it. Read a chapter about cleaning? Go clean something. Doesn't have to be your room, could be your car, your bathroom, your friend's place while they're in the shower. Point is, clean literally anything, and your brain will remember that chapter forever. There's this thing called the learning curve, and it basically proves you only need to know like 20% of any skill to be decent at 80% of it. Which sounds fake, but it's real. When you first start learning something, you make insane progress super fast because your brain's going, oh, okay, this is new and important. Then it plateaus later, but by then you're already better than most people who never started. You know what's funny? The simplest ideas always feel the best. Like when something just makes sense and you're like, yeah, obviously, why didn't I think of that? That's the whole point, right? Overcomplicating stuff is what keeps people stuck. Anyway, But like, what if you can't physically practice something? You're reading about jump-starting a car, but you don't have two cars sitting in your driveway. Do you just give up? No, you use your imagination like you're 5 years old again. Not daydreaming, but actually mentally rehearsing the whole process. Picture yourself in a parking lot. It's dark. Your car's dead. Someone pulls up next to you with jumper cables. Now walk through every single step in your head. Red cable to positive terminal on dead battery. Black cable to negative on good battery. Other red to positive on good battery. Other black to unpainted metal on dead car frame. You visualize the whole thing, and boom, your brain files it under memories of things I did, not things I read about. Meanwhile, your buddy who just glanced at the diagram in the book, he's going to stand there looking confused when his car actually dies. This is why some people seem naturally smart and others struggle. The smart ones figured out how to trick their brains into caring. Schools kind of understand this, which is why tests exist. You learn some random fact like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, and your teacher knows you're never using that information until you're helping your future kid with biology homework. So they invent a fake emergency called a test and tell you, if you don't remember this, you fail, maybe even repeat the year. And suddenly your brain's like, okay, fine, this matters, I guess. Then the test ends and your brain immediately dumps everything like it never happened. Some people try to fight this with flashcards, spaced repetition systems, mind maps, whatever. Those are fine, I guess, if you like wasting time feeling productive. Okay, I gotta ask you something, and I actually want to know. What's the thing you keep telling yourself you're gonna learn, but you never start? Not like in a motivational way. I mean, like, what's the actual thing? Because I bet half the people watching this have the same answer and they all think they're the only ones struggling with it. Write it in the comments. Not for me, for the person scrolling through who's gonna read your comment and go, oh shit, me too. Sometimes just knowing you're not alone makes it easier to actually start. Right now, while you're watching this, there's probably something you've been wanting to learn for months or even years. Maybe it's coding, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's literally anything. And you've probably watched a bunch of videos about it, read some articles, told yourself you're going to start tomorrow. But you never do, because you're waiting for it to feel easy. It's not going to feel easy. It's going to feel hard and annoying and frustrating. And that feeling is proof it's working. Your brain only rewires itself when it has to struggle. Comfort doesn't teach you anything. So if you actually want to get smarter, not just feel like you're getting smarter, you got to embrace the struggle. Imagine yourself using the information, teach it to someone else, mess up a bunch of times, and keep going anyway. That's it. That's the whole strategy. There's no shortcut. There's no life simplification method. There's just putting in the reps until your brain realizes this information actually matters. You've got everything you need right now. Your brain is already ridiculously powerful. You just got to give it a reason to care. And look, if this made sense and you want more videos where we take complicated problems and show you the stupidly simple solution that actually works, deal's simple. Next video is already queued up on your screen. Hit it and let's keep going. Simple, seriously.